There's a common phrase that person's favorite word is their name. So if you ask their name and get to know them, they're going to want to talk to you. Hello. I'm roaming around the streets of Delhi NCR. It is 9:26 in the morning on a Friday, so traffic is just starting to pick up now. Doesn't look that busy, but maybe you can hear the noise in the background. Hopefully this mic is working so you can hear my voice clearly. I've been roaming through my DMs and almost every question I get asked about, I have international students that have moved to Australia that come to me with pretty much three major problems. And I want to touch on those very quickly in this video to help you prepare if you're about to move, or if you're already in Australia, to help you solve those problems. The first major problem that students come across is accommodation. How can I find accommodation? You have a few options here. You have student accommodation on campus, which is a great choice if you're quick enough to get it. It's a fantastic option. You're going to meet a hell of a lot of people, and it's going to be a beautiful experience for you. Also, it's quite affordable. Next, you can go through the traditional online routes in Australia. You can go on domain.com.au, realestate.com.au and try to get a proper apartment. This is going to be extremely difficult for pretty much all students. And honestly, I wouldn't even recommend it. But if you are going to go down this route, maybe you have a bit of extra money, you want something a bit more premium, what I would do is apply for the properties that you like and offer $10 to $20 more than the asking price. And the reason why is because if the owner is getting other offers that match yours, they're not going to accept you because you're an international student, you don't have rental history in Australia. They're going to select somebody else that has rental history in Australia and be safer. So I would offer $10 to $20 more than the asking price if you have the financial capacity to do so. Otherwise, what I would do is stick to Facebook groups. Now, this is the little secret, little hack. In Australia, Facebook groups to find a rental property are actually quite trustworthy. I know in India and other places, it's not so trustworthy. I've tried to look on these sorts of groups as well, and it's very difficult. There's a lot of scams, a lot of agents scamming on there. It's difficult. In Australia, it's not like this. I would say 90 to 95% of listings on these Facebook groups are actually genuine. Make sure you go and see the property first before you make any decisions. But these Facebook groups that exist in every single city in Australia will have people listing their properties to sublet. Perhaps somebody has rented a 2-bedroom apartment and wants to rent out the second room. You can absolutely go on these Facebook groups that are all across Australia and find these properties that are suitable for you in good locations at reasonable prices. That's what I would do. I would highly recommend you check out these Facebook groups, especially if you can't get student accommodation, which I would say would be my first choice. The next major problem is jobs. A lot of students can't find part-time jobs. Now, this can come down to two things. Firstly, your resume is shit. If your resume is shitty, you need to improve it. It needs to look good. It needs to be articulate. It needs to be short and concise and summarize who you are, what you've achieved, and your key responsibilities, even if you don't have work experience. Maybe you've just been a student. I want to know your extracurricular activities. I want to know your hobbies. I want to know the lessons and the skills you've learned from anywhere on your journey so far. It needs to be articulated well. I need to be sold that you're the right person for the job that I'm advertising, right? So that's first step, is making sure your resume is looking crispy and it's beautiful and it's readable and it's concise and it summarizes who you are in a very professional way. Now, the next thing is improving and sharpening your soft skills. The resume is only going to get you so far. It's going to get you to an interview, right? Once you're in the interview, you need to have immaculate soft skills. You need to be able to talk with confidence, and you need to display that the skills you've learned, you need to be able to walk into an interview and show with confidence, with articulation, with a great energy and attitude that you are the right person for the job. You need to sharpen up your soft skills, sharpen up your communication skills, and make sure you can display the best version of yourself in that interview. But also, you want to make sure that the company you're applying for is the best suit for you. So treat it as a two-way conversation. Walk in there with a bit of confidence, answer the questions in an articulate way. Make sure that your posture is strong. Make sure that your posture is really confident, your tone is really confident, and you're displaying your ability to connect with other people. I have a little tip for interviews. Of course, if you get offered coffee or a glass of water, which you will be, always say yes. It's a little hack, and since I've started doing it, my interviews have been going so much better. If you get offered water or coffee, say yes. Choose the coffee of your choice. It shows a little bit of confidence. It shows that you're comfortable in the environment. It shows that you're already part of the team. You're accepting the water, you're accepting the coffee, you're having a coffee with them. It's a beautiful thing. Always say yes to the little beverage that's offered in an interview. That's my little tip. The last thing with jobs is to make sure you're applying for reasonable roles. So if you're a full-time student, which is probably most of you, the most typical roles are going to be part-time jobs in retail or hospitality sectors. Now for these, make sure your resume is maximum 1 page. And when you get an interview, go in and show that you can communicate, you have a great energy, and they're probably going to want you. If you're looking for something that's more in your industry or in your niche while you're a full-time student, this is going to be difficult. So be prepared for a lot of knockbacks because firstly, you can only work for 24 hours a week as a full-time student in Australia. And secondly, most of these jobs are extremely competitive. So if you're looking for a cash top-up, I would highly recommend you look in the retail or hospitality space. You're going to get a job much faster than something in your professional field, especially while you're a full-time student. Now, the last major concern of international students in Australia is community, feeling like a part of a family, like you have friends, like you have a home. A lot of international students that reach out to me really struggle to make friends and find that community. And so I have a few recommendations. Firstly, get involved at your university. Your university is going to be your safe place, your best bet at building community. There's going to be so many people like you from all across the world studying there, perhaps also struggling to make friends, and all you need to do is put yourself in a position to meet people. And what I mean by that is go to events, sign up to communities, go to lunches, go to balls, go to sporting events. If you have a hobby, get involved in the activities related to your hobby through the university. Most universities will have groups and committees relating to your hobbies and your sports, for example. Get involved as much as you can. And I know a lot of you are introverts or call yourself introverts. You're just going to have to get a little bit outside your comfort zone, at least until you make your first few friends, you know, and then things will snowball a little bit for you. But Australia, unfortunately, is probably not as hospitable and welcoming as a country like India, which kind of welcomes me with open arms, which is beautiful and one of the reasons I love being here. In Australia, everybody kind of fends for themselves a little bit more. And so you're probably going to have to put yourself out there, especially initially, to actually make some initial friends. That's just the reality of it. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a harsh truth, but you're going to have to put yourself out there. If you're sitting next to someone in a lecture or in a tute, spark up a conversation, get to know somebody, ask about what they're interested in, what they love to do. If you're asking questions about somebody else, they love to answer questions about themselves. There's a common phrase that person's favorite word is their name. So if you ask their name and get to know them, they're going to want to talk to you. Hello. So building community, even though this is a pain point for a lot of international students moving to Australia, this is one that is a little bit more in your hands. You can control it. Get out there, get to some events, have a little bit of fun, don't take life too seriously, enjoy your time, meet people from all around the world, which is one of the most beautiful things about living in Australia. There are people and students and workers from everywhere, every corner of the planet, and that's an absolutely beautiful thing. So make sure you enjoy that. That's something I absolutely miss about Australia while I'm here living in India. That diversity of people and culture is absolutely immaculate. So enjoy it. Meet people, build that little community of yours, get yourself a job, get yourself a beautiful accommodation, and I'm sure in no time Australia will absolutely feel like home. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you click that subscribe button. That would help me tremendously, and I will see you in the next video.